Please hold.
Sorry. we're live now. I apologize. I had to reboot my audio interface right before the show, and when OBS is open and that happens, OBS just decides to give up on audio until I click some things.
Gotta love that. Gotta love it. Well, no worries. We'll do the opening again now. All good. All right, here we go.
Live.
Hello and welcome everybody to today's News Tonight, episode 137. This is, of course, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests, our lovely patrons, and our awesome YouTube audience to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host for this episode, Ash Paulson, and today I'm joined by my good friends and GVG co-founders, Steve Bowling and Derek Bittner, along with our very special returning guest, content creator, voice actor, overall gaming enthusiast, and super great guy, and dear friend of mine, David Giltinan. David, how's it going, man?
It's going all right, and apparently I'm not lovely also, because only the patrons are lovely over here.
No, that's reserved specifically for the patrons. They alone are lovely. You're just super great and wonderful, but they specifically are lovely.
I'll take the W in that case, yeah.
Yeah. But how's it going, David? What you been up to lately, man?
A whole lot of things. A lot of things I can't really talk about, but been wrapping up the second audiobook, which is coming out. That's on the book Arcade Perfect by David L. Craddock. So be on the lookout for that later on this year. And I'm also working on my first gaming project right now. Just doing the proofreading and editing for the dialogue for the game, and it's an RPG, so it's a lot of dialogue, you know. And and then I'll be handling the voiceover for it. So that's pretty much all I can really say on it at this moment. But I'll be glad to share more with you guys once I can. So. Oh,
sorry. So you mean I can't say that it's Mega Man Legends 3 that you're working on?
I just had to let it out there, Ash, didn't you?
Sorry. Sorry.
Cat's out of the bag, right?
Spoilers. Yeah. Jeez. Cat's out of the bag. Yeah. Derek, Steve, how you guys doing? How's your Wednesday going? What you up to? What you playing? All that good stuff.
I mean, I think there's that one thing on everybody's mind, but beyond that, I have reached the final case of Radius Attorney 2, and I am hyped as hell.
Nice. I can't wait to get there. I'm in the middle of part 1 of the investigation in case 4 in the first game now. So my wife and I are slowly chipping away at it.
I also have to ask, have any of you tried out Kina yet?
No, but it's getting good reviews. It seems our fears were perhaps unfounded.
And it's not, there's definitely some little things here and there, but for the overall, for overall, it leaves a really good first impression. You can actually see a lot of the Majora's Mask influences in certain ways as you go through it. And you can definitely see how it's sort of structured, but there's a lot to enjoy about it. And I like the way it's sort of set up where if this does well, they are already in a great position to just offer up Kina sequels. So
nice. I'm getting like heavy Star Fox Adventure / Beyond Good and Evil era vibes from the combat, which is totally fine with me.
It is literally it's kind of like Horizon. R1 for light attacks, R2 for heavy attacks.
Okay. Nice. I want to play it. I'm really happy to hear that it seems as though, even if it's not revolutionary, it seems as though our fears of its quality might be largely unfounded. It's getting pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
And also, like a fun fact as well, one of my voiceover coaches is actually part of that as well, too.
Cool.
That's really cool.
A special shout out to Lisa Biggs, who plays,
that's awesome.
I believe, like little pixie characters, like the little black pixie.
They're called the Rot, I think.
The
right?
Rot,
yeah. I think she plays.
Well, they're freaking adorable. So there you go.
She does those voices, so yeah.
Nice.
Steve, what were you going to say, man?
I was gonna say that I watched the beginning of Derek's stream of Kina here on the channel, and I definitely was very pleasantly surprised by what I saw. I want to play the game, but I'm a little busy. It'll probably wait for a couple months.
I hear that.
At least.
Yeah.
I would say that I really enjoyed what I saw. It visually, it's quite breathtaking, but not enough to make me like put down what I'm playing and working on now and rush out and play it immediately. Like I'm not worried about missing the boat on this one. So I think over the holidays when things start to kind of even out and slow down and we start thinking about Game of the Year, this is when I'm gonna pick up and play Kina, especially if
gotcha. Same. Yeah. Well, before we get too far in, we do have a little housekeeping to do. First of all, I do just want to apologize to the audience today. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so if my energy seems lower, or I seem a little bit out of it than usual, that's why I'm fighting off a cold, not getting enough sleep, you know, the whole thing. So appreciate your understanding there. But as always, we do have a sponsor for today's episode in the awesome, wonderful Freyhem. And Freyhem would like you to know about Neebs Gaming. They are a humorous group of entertainers and content creators playing video games like 7 Days to Die, Ark Survival Evolved, and Raft. But sadly, one of its cast members, who goes by the name of Thick44, was diagnosed with a tumor in his brain a few months ago. Now, the doctors extracted the tumor, but it does turn out that it was cancerous, so he's not out of the woods yet. And more treatment is going to be needed for him to, you know, make a full recovery. So Freyhem would like you to support their channel and their Patreon so that Thick44 will get the treatment they need and be cured. So we highly recommend you check Neebs Gaming out both on YouTube and Patreon. And thank you, of course, Freyhem, for being so generous, not only supporting us with your sponsorship, but by using that sponsorship to support other creators who need some love. And of course, we don't know Neebs Gaming personally here, but we're sending you all the love. And Thick44, we hope you make a full recovery. You can find links to their YouTube and Patreon in both our description and right here in the chat in just a second here. There we go. I just posted in the chat, so go check them out. And I'm pinning it right now. There we go. So thank you so much again for your generosity, Freyhem. Now, of course, I'm the host for today's episode, which means I want to use the top of the show to geek out about something I'm personally really hype about. And this is going to come up later in the show as well. It is about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, but you may be aware that the developer recently showed off Leonardo's moveset and stage. And this is just the coolest thing. As a huge TMNT fan myself, I just have to point out that Leo's recovery is Endless Screw, returning from TMNT Tournament Fighters, his spinning blade move.
Endless
Screw, Shining Cutter.
Yeah.
It's so good. And not only that, I was watching the gameplay demonstration, and it takes place in his stage called Sewer Slam, and there's a certain NPC skateboarding around in the background, and I had to pause it, and I'm like, is that fucking Mondo Gecko? Are they really going that deep with this? And they are. Mondo Gecko can be seen in the background of Leonardo's stage. It's so cool.
What was that?
Gecko of all things.
Mondo Gecko, right?
What was that? Like the rabbit samurai character,
Usagi Yojimbo.
Yojimbo,
which would be another deep cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that in the background, they just now, I think today, uploaded a showcase for Michelangelo's moveset.
I saw that.
His stage is the Technodrome, and you can see Krang and his giant robot flying around in the background.
And Krang falls out of the cockpit too. And
and he falls out. It's so good. And the robot goes after him. There's obviously the budget for this game is limited, and that's true. But like you can tell that the team has so much love for the details and the lore of all the IPs they're getting to play with here. And as a big TMNT fan, I'm just loving all this. It's so great to see.
Didn't they also do an overview for April as well on Twitter?
They did.
I want to say yesterday.
Oh, did they?
They did, and on YouTube. And her stage, I think, is called Rooftop Rumble. It's like a New York City skyline rooftop with Channel 6, the Channel 6 building in the background. And you can see some foot soldiers in the background there. So really cool stuff all around. Still crossing my fingers for Raph and Donnie to make it in his DLC to get 2 more TMNT stages. I don't give me 5, 6 TMNT characters. I don't care. Hell
Why
yeah,
not?
I'm down for it. Yeah, exactly. But as I said, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl will come up again later in the show as one of our news stories because the last base roster character was leaked. So, get ready for us to talk about that a little later on. But before we get to the news, we do have some super chats to get to. So let's go right ahead. The Shadow Hermit with €1 and 99 pence asking, what fighter do you want for Age of Calamity DLC 2? Ooh, I think playing as a Lionel would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
My thought always goes down to give me Breath of the Wild version of Linkle.
Oh yeah,
that would be sick. That would be sick.
Linkle would be
yeah,
really cool.
I was only thinking in terms of existing characters, but yeah, like a Lionel would be cool. But yeah, like an original version of Linkle, Breath of the Wild style, would be sick. I'd be all about that.
Ooh, Dan L. Cass.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Cass, yeah, that would be pretty hype. Next is $5 from 123 Nintendo Freak saying chances of Ezio being the final Smash character. I would say almost nil.
I wouldn't
Almost
discount
zero,
it,
yeah.
but I also don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, look, after Cloud and Sephiroth and Terry Bogard, any game character is possible. So Ezio doesn't have a 0% chance, but I wouldn't put him much above 0, to be honest.
I feel like anyone who kind of comes from like a violent game franchise is almost going to be a 0, pretty much, for Smash. Honestly, that's why like you have.
I mean, you say that, but Bayonetta and Cloud, Sephiroth,
but Bayonetta,
kind of,
yeah, but they're not.
Bayonetta.
But they're not as like overtly, I guess, like realistic violence, like in terms of like how the Assassin's Creed franchise is, or like how people were saying that they want Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat and it's Smash Brothers. That's never gonna happen.
No. Yeah. No, I completely agree. Next is $5 from RC saying hype for new Melty Blood this month. French bread makes great fighters, in my opinion, but they sadly don't get too much attention. They made Under Night, Dengeki, etc. I've heard of Melty Blood, but I haven't played it. I think it looks great visually.
Yeah, they're cool games.
I haven't played it though.
Yeah, I've not played them either, but they are intriguing.
Yeah, thank you so much, RC. And next is $10 from CL, just saying, hi, guys. Just want to say I love y'all. Been watching you since GX in like 2015. As a trans person, I want to say thank you for being so inclusive and advocating for trans people. Heart GVG, Bay Team Go. Well, CL, thank you so much. I don't recognize your name. It's great to see new names in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And trans rights. Hell yeah. Trans rights matter.
Absolutely.
You matter, and you're awesome. So thank you so much for supporting us. And know that we love you. And we hope to see your name pop up in the chat again in the future. Super chat or not. We just love to have you here.
Yep.
And then one more just came in from Zeltion with $20. Thank you so much, saying, hey, guys, finally able to catch a stream live. Things have been crazy since I met you guys at PAX. I'm Christian. Well, hi, Christian. Thanks for being so dang cool. It was awesome to meet you. Catch you at the stream tomorrow. Sora for Smash. I love the way you think, Christian. It was a pleasure meeting you at PAX. It was, I love that. It was great. It was a great pleasure meeting you at PAX, Christian. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I'm right there with you. Sora for Smash.
I missed you.
Yeah, did not realize that you were Zeltion. I've heard your name before in the chat, so yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't put the two together.
Glad we were able to get a selfie together before. I know you were only there for a little bit, but only one of our fans that showed up, I believe, in his GVG shirt, which was really cool to see on someone other than us for once.
yeah, exactly. Next up is $1.99.
By the way, real quick, Ash, you missed two. Before Zeltion, yeah. Shadow Pika.
Oh, they scrolled through. Okay, Shadow Pika with $10. Thanks, Derek. Saying trying to leave my retail job to be a marketing manager for Bud's Film Company. Can't leave my full time yet, but got my first freelance check last week. Thanks for indirectly motivating me to take a shot. Well, thank you, Shadow.
Yeah.
We're
Congrats.
Flattered to hear that we indirectly motivated you. That's awesome. Yeah.
As a freelancer myself, I am totally on board with that. So yeah, congrats on that.
Yeah.
Keep very good records of your income and expenditures. Yes. You will appreciate that for taxes.
For sure.
Yeah. Sorry to say, taxes are going to really suck for you now as a freelancer, but good luck and good luck with all your endeavors.
Welcome to
next
my
is
world.
$2. Sorry, David?
Welcome to my world.
Oh, yeah, all our world. Next is $2 from AxeCon saying, good vibes. What's the oldest game in your backlog? Oh, geez.
I cannot tell you because I'm doing a video on it, but it's a Zelda game.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I mean, the original No More Heroes, I never finished it. The original No More Heroes probably qualifies.
Room right next to you, man.
Oh no, I have... I have, NES games. I guess name an NES game that I've not beaten yet. I guess Crystallis is on there. Haven't tried that.
That's true.
There's a ton of NES games I've never beaten.
I always meant to go back and play Terranigma because I'm such a big Illusion of Gaia fan, and so that would certainly predate No More Heroes. But yeah, I have a lot of games in my backlog, as we all do. Thank you so much for the donation. Next up is Mike F with $1.99 saying, leaking the final Smash fighter now, Chell from Portal. That'd be wild. I mean, but we would get Still Alive and Smashed, and that would be pretty cool. So
I mean, just like a Portal themed level too would be rad. Like representation. Like
actually have a reason for those looping stages, like Balloon Fight.
Yeah.
Next is $5 Canadian from Bongo Lovers saying, I finally did it. Platinumed every Yakuza game from 0 to 7. Now on to Judgment and Like a Danimal featuring the Dragon of Danima. I love it. Bongo Lover, that is seriously, all joking aside, that is seriously
hundreds
impressive.
of hours.
Yeah, that is a really impressive achievement.
So
good for you, and congratulations.
I do have to present the question then. Favorite Yakuza game, the group here?
I've not played. I'm going to be hopefully playing Yakuza 0 relatively soon, but I have not played any of the series yet.
Oh, okay. You got to get on that.
If we're counting Judgment, like our good friend Bongo Lover, then I would say Judgment is my favorite Yakuza game. If we're not counting it, I would go for 0. I just really like Yakuza 0 a lot.
0 is a lot of people's favorites, and it's actually my second favorite behind Yakuza 5. And Ash, I think
you're 5 very often.
Yeah. Well, because Ash, like if you play 5, you'll know exactly what I mean because there is a music and rhythm like character.
Oh, nice.
Basically,
nice.
Yeah. And, it's great. It's a lot of fun.
My default answer has to be Like a Dragon, only because it's the only one I've really played so far. I've heard so many good things about Yakuza 0, and I want to play the rest of the series. It's just a matter of time. But I love Yakuza Like a Dragon, and so and I love Ichiban, so I have to go with that.
I have the worst story to tell about that I'll tell during the post show tonight about Like a Dragon.
Ooh,
and that is
exciting,
personally embarrassing.
Oh, exciting. Okay. Well, if you want to get in on that action, check us out on patreon.com/gvgaming and join our live audience here for $5 a month, which gets you the post show and spicy Steve stories. All right. Next is, I love this name, 20 Canadian dollars from Guy of Guyness. First stream I'm watching as a producer. I'm Chris Mann in the Discord. Listening to you guys during the GX days kept me sane during long drives when I was living in Japan. Keep on rock manning. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Guy of Guidance /Chris Mann. And thank you so much for supporting us as a producer on Patreon. We're really, really happy to have you in our community and really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. Okay. We're just about to wrap up here. $5 from Late Night Sprite saying the Smash logo appears. We see Doom Guy, but he is rendered unconscious. He is defeated by whom, you ask? Big the Cat fights his way to find Froggy.
Oh my God.
That would be, imagine if we got a second Sonic rep and it wasn't Tails or Shadow or Knuckles. It was Froggy.
Eggman. Yeah.
Big. Yeah. Oh, man. Or Eggman, of
course. Or what
if
Froggy was the character who was
what if it was Froggy? Froggy.
Froggy hops into battle.
Oh, man. All right. Finally is $2 from Humble Jojo saying, I'm just donating so we never make it to the news. Don't do that. Don't do that. Bad. Thank you very much, but don't do that. We really appreciate you, Humble Jojos. Thank you so much. But with that said, it is $2 Canadian from JJ the Kill.
I really quickly just have to point out, because I've been wanting to say this through this whole segment, which apparently has dragged on for like 20 minutes somehow.
Yeah.
Fighter for Hyrule Warriors. Bolson. How did none of us say Bolson?
Bolson.
Who's Bolson?
Who is Bolson?
None of you remember Bolson? The extremely flamboyant house builder?
Oh, that guy.
Oh, kind of. A little bit.
He's the one that kicks off the Terrytown quest.
Right.
Terrytown has to have the name Sun at the end. I just imagine Bolson bringing in all the sons to fight with him.
Nice. Beautiful. I like that idea. But you know what? Actually, I'm the host today. I have control, and I want to keep the show moving. We are going to get to all these super chats, but I'm going to read the next one's out after the next story because we do need to get to the news, and I don't want to mess up the pacing and make people wait on the news any longer. So, with that said, let's get to that first news story, which you all know what it is. I don't even need to have a transition for it. It is the Nintendo Direct. All right. So, unfortunately, I went to bed at like 5 a.m. Due to my day job. And so I was sound asleep when the Direct was announced this morning. And my good friends and compatriots, Derek and Steve, did their discussion this morning. I wasn't able to be a part of it. So now I get to talk about the Direct. And David, you as well. Of course, you're our guest. So I want to throw it to you first. What are your thoughts about tomorrow's Direct overall? Or is there anything specific you're hoping to see, or any predictions you want to share?
I mean, honestly, just because there has been a lot of talk about Metroid lately, with Metroid Dread coming out next month, I believe, and there's like Metroid Prime 4, which I know had to get like rebooted of sorts, like they had to give it to like a new team basically to make again. I'm hoping that we'll hear like something about it, like just some sort of like update, like even if it's just like a quick little blurb. It's like, hey, we're like maybe like X% like done, or we're at like an alpha state, or here's maybe like a quick like artwork or something like that. Like even if it is at that early conceptual stage, it would be nice to kind of like hear something about it. I'm not even like a big like Metroid guy myself, but like it would just be nice to see that. But otherwise, I mean, honestly, like in terms of the Nintendo Directs, I get the most excited for the indie games, really. And like even like the last Nintendo Direct that happened, the game that had me the most hyped was a game that just recently came out, which is Eastward. And
I want to play that.
I saw Amy play a little bit. It looks really good.
It is.
It does look really good. Yeah, it's like straight up like, for people who don't know, it's basically like a straight up like 16-bit SNES era like RP like kind of like action RPG type of thing.
My veins, man.
Yeah. Look into my veins. Yeah,
my veins.
It looks amazing.
I so want to play it. And by the way, on the subject of Super NES, I just want to say, I told you this before the show. I fucking love your shirt, man. You're repping the best game of all time, and I love it. I got
the SNES here, and I got the NES right here. So,
it's so good.
There you go.
So good. So speaking of the indie scene, then, do you think this is finally the direct where we hear about Hollow Knight Silksong?
No,
I mean it's about
Probably
time,
not.
really, right?
It's been about
it seems like it,
but it feels like.
I know it does, but I feel like that'll be an indie world, either a shadow drop or some big headliner.
Probably.
For me, you guys already know what I'm going to say. I said this on Twitter earlier. I'm always hyped for a direct. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it because it's at 3 p.m. and not at some god awful hour like 6 in the morning like it usually is.
Right. Yeah.
But the reality is hitting me that we might get our truly final Smash character reveal tomorrow. And that stings a bit. I don't want the train to end. I'm not ready to let go. I wish Sakurai all the vacation time in the world, but selfishly, I'm not ready for it to end, and I never will be. And so I feel a little bit bittersweet. I'm looking forward to it, but I almost don't want Smash to be in it because I don't want to have that last reveal happen. I just don't want it to end. But
it's the end of the road, Ash. Yeah.
I know it's the end of the road, no matter how I feel about it, and that it is what it is. And I'm looking forward to finding out who it is, of course. Fingers crossed it isn't a Pokemon or Waluigi, personally.
Or Crash Bandicoot.
Do you think they'll start with it or end with it? Because there's no way this Smash is not going to be in this.
I think if they do it, they'll start with it because that's usually what they do.
That's true.
So I feel like they might start with it, but who knows? Either way, though, I don't think that we'll get like a shadow drop of any Smash character tomorrow. I think we'll get a proper presentation, like always, from Sakurai. I think the thing that I'm really hoping for that I keep seeing coming up, and it was kind of one of my own predictions that I would have mentioned this morning had I been in the discussion, is Kirby. It is time for a new Kirby game. It has been time for a new Kirby game. Obviously, I'm biased. He's my favorite Nintendo character of all time. But it was said that the next Kirby game is supposed to revolutionize the series. And that, to me, means a 3D Kirby game, finally. And I have a feeling we might see that in tomorrow's Direct. Who knows?
I love
it. I love it,
man. I'm not the biggest Kirby fan. I'm casual at best, and that's being generous when it comes to Kirby. But I would be really excited to see a 3D Kirby game because I do feel like the reason I kind of am not super into or don't engage with the series is that for as long as I can remember, it hasn't been really exciting. Like, they haven't done anything wild with Kirby. It has that same risk-averse sense to it to me that Mario does.
Was that the only 3D Kirby game? Was Star Riders, I think? Am I wrong in that?
What's Star Riders?
That's
Star Allies.
Oh, It might be that.
Kirby's
I mean, there's
like
3D-ish stuff, but not like fully. Like, it's always been kind of 2D. Even when it has 3D renders, it's just never been a thing. I guess Air Ride, Air Ride is what you mean.
Or Air Ride,
right.
And that'd be cool. I mean, a new Air Ride would be awesome. And
I remember the box.
Yeah.
But a 3D Kirby would be really, really interesting. I don't know if it'll happen, but.
And even if it doesn't, even if we just get a new 2D Kirby game, I'd be really happy about that as well. I just want to see a new mainline Kirby game just because I love that character and those games so damn much. But it isn't just about our predictions here. Steve had a great idea this morning and pinned a comment to our discussion from this morning, asking some of you all from the community to let us know what your predictions for the Direct are. And we'll highlight some of them. We can't highlight all of them because there are like over 20, and we do need to keep the show moving. But there are some good things here, and one of the ones that I like in particular is from Gamer Guide Guy. saying the second DLC wave for Age of Calamity, because that's something I keep forgetting about as a thing.
I completely forgot about it.
Yeah,
I don't think even the first DLC pack hit with any kind of splash. It was just sort of like, oh yeah, that's out, and then you moved on.
Playable Guardian, right? It was like
Playable Guardian
Robbie
and Zelda on the motorcycle.
Oh, right. Yeah, it wasn't Purah and Robbie, was it? Right.
So and Robbie were in an update.
Were they
I think it was outside of the DLC pack.
I don't know. I don't think they're playable yet. So
maybe they're not. I haven't kept up with that game at all since it came out last year.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it just sort of like, it was fun, and then move on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like it was a fun game for the time, but it's not like an evergreen game that I'm going to keep going back to. Once I finished the story, I kind of felt like I got everything I wanted out of it.
Right. Another one that stands out to me is from Corin Lavin. And the reason I say this is because you and I are kindred souls, man. You say, every direct, I hope for some news on the Endless Ocean series. As far as I'm aware, Arika isn't working on anything new currently, so maybe. And my heart goes out to you because I think that would be cool to see something new for Endless Ocean. I completely forgot about it, just like Nintendo's completely forgotten about Rhythm Heaven. So I get it. I feel your pain.
I will put it out there.
What we want.
Speaking of forgotten series, I will put it out there for Amy. She would lose her mind if they came out with a new Style Savvy game.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
would our friend Don Koopman. Don is a huge Style Savvy fan. He would be.
I always hear it's good.
I'd hear him screaming all the way from the Netherlands if that was announced. I think he'd be really happy.
I am willing to give a special shout out here to our friend Bill Gardner, who is like one of the designers of he was one of the designers of BioShock. He was like a level designer, and he always talks about Star Tropics and how Nintendo has basically completely forgotten about Star Tropics. So if there's like any franchise that Nintendo owns that's not Earthbound, that Nintendo needs to bring back in some way, I think Star Tropics might be one of the top ones for sure.
Right.
That'd be wild if another developer about the size of WayForward got Star Tropics.
That'd be a perfect fit,
wouldn't it?
Since
WayForward got Advance Wars, so you never know.
Right.
I can't believe I completely forgot about the rumors of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, so I'm making up for it with the Great Culpa here. It's like give me Xenoblade 3. I want it.
Well, that was AMTZX said, I'm definitely hoping for Xenoblade 3 and Splatoon 3 news. Probably overhyping, but I can hope.
Splatoon 3.
Yeah, only because they've already said that this is primarily focused on games releasing this winter, and not that we know Xenoblade 3 would be, but we know Splatoon 3 isn't. So I feel like maybe not
Xenoblade 3 in February would be just amazing.
Wow, that would be wild to find out that's coming out so soon. I do wonder. Like, we've heard a lot about it in the news lately, but I feel like Nintendo might put a longer tail on that one. It seems like a game that they would hype a lot more leading up to release than just saying like, hey, it's out in 3 months. Here you go. Like, I could believe Xenoblade 3 being a big E3 2022 game.
I mean, that feels fine, yeah.
I could see
sense.
that. Our very own patron and community member, Richard Herrera, saying, and I'm not necessarily saying I agree with this, but I want it. I'm going to predict a Metroid collection featuring Zero Mission and Super Metroid for $40, another collection of Samus Returns and Fusion for another $40, with an option to purchase all for $70. And also a Metroid Prime collection announcement for February. Yes, I want all of the above, please. I would love to be able to play every mainline Metroid game, especially Samus Returns, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think
it'll happen before Dread. I think if we do get that, it will happen after Dread. And I will also say, I think we'll get all 4, but that'll be our new limited release.
Mm-hmm.
You have until March of 2022 to get it.
Man, that could be. I could see that.
I would absolutely. That's an easy buy.
One
absolute easy buy
that I saw in our patron chat, and I'm sorry I don't have the wherewithal to scroll through all the messages and find who said it, but I totally hope that this happens. And I can't believe Derek and I didn't mention it. Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD.
Oh yeah,
those are two games
I don't think it'll happen.
that aren't announced that I could totally believe would go from announcement to release in this very short period.
Yeah, now that we're out of the hype phase of Skyward Sword HD, I could see that being a thing. Definitely. I mean, it seems like it should only be a matter of time before that happens. It seems very strange for those remasters to be locked to Wii U, you know?
Right.
I mean,
It makes
Wind Waker
sense.
HD was like one of those like hypothetical Switch ports that like I've been like waiting for the most, honestly. So that's why when we saw like the Skyward Sword HD, I was just like Wind Waker. I'm like waiting for Wind Waker because like I just never got a chance to play that game, and I've always
Oh, you
wanted to play
didn't?
it.
Oh, you're missing
Oh,
out. It's my
wow.
favorite 3D Zelda,
I
man.
know. That's
You're
why I want to
missing out.
buy it on Switch.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is that Wind Waker HD would be a really great game to pair with, from a marketing perspective, to pair with the Switch OLED, because it has such bright,
Ooh.
vibrant
yeah.
colors, and that is the whole thing the OLED exists for. So I would,
That would make
love
sense.
to see that game on a huge OLED display.
Although we know that
Yeah.
Metroid Dread is like the title that's just basically like associated with it, like even down to like the color scheme of the console itself.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Vento Kiosk
so-
in the YouTube chat saying Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn remastered for the Switch. That would be pretty dang hype, because Ike is a popular character, but they've never re-released that GameCube and Wii game, and
Yeah.
to get it to have a proper release, especially because they're getting so expensive, would be pretty huge. But just really Fire Emblem anything, like a new Echoes game, like that does a Genealogy of the Holy War, that would make Fire Emblem fans lose their minds. Or I don't think we're ready quite yet for the newest Fire Emblem. I don't think we're ready after Three Houses. But I could see a remake happening.
Right.
I was thinking a remake. Yeah.
Also, our very own community member and patron, Joseph Bayer, coming in with a prediction that I partially agree with. They're saying Castlevania GBA Collection, since we know that's now a real thing, N64 or Game Boy on NSO, and a new NSO retro controller. And the part of that I definitely think is happening, I think we're getting a new NSO tier with either N64 or Game Boy, or perhaps both. But I do think that the rumors surrounding all that, I feel like there's a there. And I think we're going to get at least one new console on NSO tomorrow during the Direct. Will it be part of a new subscription tier? That I'm not so sure of, but I do think it's going to happen. I know.
Yeah.
Knowing Nintendo, that's probably the case, honestly.
And
This was
knowing
the
me,
big...
they got me by the balls anyway. So
exactly.
This was the big point in our discussion earlier today. Nintendo Switch Online getting... I'm just going to go specifically N64. I am beyond reasonably certain that we're getting N64. And I mentioned all the reasons in
That's
our
what I'm leaning
discussion,
toward.
so if you listen to that, you can go listen to the detail. But the big thing is just that patent that we covered on TNT a few episodes back,
Right.
that was supposed to, the FCC pictures were supposed to be unlocked March 2022. They moved that to this Friday, which seems
right.
like a coincidence. And people have correctly pointed out that in the diagrams, like the drawings that Nintendo submitted that are publicly available, that the labeling points, like they list out where product labels are on these diagrams, and they line up perfectly with an N64 controller. So
That's what I was thinking. I kind of think it is. If I had to choose one or the other, I think it's going to be N64, and I'm down with that.
I mean, as we were saying, having it be multiplayer with N64 being such a multiplayer machine makes a lot of sense, and would be probably the best use of the online for that type of thing, because you have a few good SNES games you can play multiplayer, but N64 is really where it's at and could really make it something special. The problem is they need a much more if they're going to raise the price, they need a more consistent release schedule. Not this every 3 months, here's 5 random games.
I think I think something that like a lot of people don't realize too is that the N64 is actually the most popular retro console that like a lot of gamers kind of attached to, really, in a lot of ways. I mean, like if you saw like with was it when GameStop like started selling retro games and like retro consoles and all that stuff, the N64 was like by and large like the most popular thing. So I think Nintendo is like aware of that, and that's why I'm thinking that this would lead to like a new tier where like you not only get Super Nintendo games, but you also get N64 games. So now you gotta go to the next tier in order to get all of that.
Right. And if that's what happens, they got my money. I mean, I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not going to pay for that. So
I mean, as long as they got the titles, that's the whole thing, because like Nintendo's notorious with not rolling out these titles fast enough or plentiful enough, really, so it's
That's true.
It all kind of depends on what their plan is in order to make it worthwhile. But I think for you, Ash, it's like no matter what, they got you. So.
Yeah, I mean, unless it was just like Super Mario 64, because I already have 3D All-Stars. But assuming it's anything beyond that.
I don't think Super Mario 64 would be part of the service. Though I will say, if we get both Game Boy and N64, there's definitely a crossover potential here, because I saw some people saying about Pokemon Stadium. If they would release Pokemon, any of the Gen 1 or Gen 2 games, and then Pokemon Stadium 1 or 2 on the N64, and have that compatible between the games, between the Game Boy and N64 apps, presumably, that'd be kind of cool. Have that little extra bonus. You can actually have your own teams in Stadium rather than the rented Pokemon.
What would also be interesting is if, obviously we never got the Xbox. I think we all kind of thought for a while that we would get the Xbox versions of Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie on Switch eventually, and that just hasn't shaken out that way, and that's fine. But what if we did just at least get the original versions through N64, NSO, and so you don't get like the definitive versions necessarily. You still have to go to Xbox for those, but I'd be happy to have the original N64 versions of the Banjo games.
As long as they're available somewhere, that's the main thing.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to our good friend Roger's Base earlier, and he came in, not necessarily with a prediction, but definitely it made me laugh, and he's choosing violence with this. He said, imagine if the new Fire Emblem gets announced and the last Smash character is the protagonist of that new Fire Emblem.
Oh no, that'd be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the internet would
that's
break
something
in
that we
half.
didn't
That's what I
mention
told
also,
him.
like, as far as it being like another Fire Emblem character. Like that's like another thing that we mentioned. It's like, oh, if it's like this, then it'd be like, oh no. Like
honestly, I don't think if we get another, I don't think it'll be Fire Emblem. I think the more likely one is Pokemon.
I hope not. The three series I don't want to be are Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and Mario. I think all three of those series need a bit of a break when it comes to new Smash characters. Of course, if it is any one of those three, I will be happy for their fans. Waluigi, I'll be begrudgingly happy, but I will be a good sport about it.
I
do my best.
If I can make my prediction real quick, I actually thought it might be a Goomba. Actually, might be the last character, just because the first DLC character was the Piranha
That
Plant.
would be.
Remember?
That'd be amazing.
So I'm thinking I'm thinking full circle. It might come back to being generic Mario enemy. So like Goomba or Koopa or something like that. So. Yeah.
I mean, if it is a first-party character, and there were probably reasons to think that it could be, I would personally love it to be either Dixie Kong or Rhythm Heaven Rat, but I don't expect either of those at all. I think that ship has sailed. Who knows? It could be anyone. It could be anyone at this point. It could be third-party, first-party. You all know Sora is my last remaining realistic dream character. I don't think it's going to be him, but I sure hope it is. But I know we could probably go through direct predictions literally forever, but we do actually
It'd literally be our only news story, and we'd be fine.
Yeah. But we do have other news to get to, and we also have other super chats to read out. So first up is JJ the Killer 8 with $2 Canadian saying "same," referring to just sending super chats to prevent us from getting to the news. And I decided to cut it and then go back to the super chats after this first story. So thank you, JJ the Killer. Yeah. Oh no, I got scrolled off. Where'd it go? Chat, why did you do that? Sorry, guys.
You want me to grab it, or
damn you and your generosity?
Yeah, if you could. I got scrolled off. Hey, I found it.
You found it? Okay.
Yeah, Luke Bevis with $4.99 saying, thanks for always putting a smile on my face since the GX days. Thanks for helping getting me into so many great games. Direct hype. Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Luke. Really appreciate it. And direct hype indeed. Next is $5 from Jacob Tucker saying, still holding out for Ryu Hayabusa, but I'd totally be fine with Phoenix Wright. I'd be fine with either of those characters.
Both sound good to me.
Phoenix Wright a little bit more for me, but
I would place Phoenix Wright a bit higher, significantly higher, but I'd be pretty happy with Ryu Hayabusa as well. Yeah. Next is $5 from RecBCQ saying a version of the Banjo trailer that knocks out Duck Hunt. This time, every character in the game gets hit one after another until they reveal Waluigi. Why would you say something like this?
I just want that as a game, not as a trailer, but as an actual game at this point.
Yeah. Well, RecBCQ, you are one of the people that I will be begrudgingly happy for if it is Waluigi. So here's to seeing what happens. Also, $5 more from RecBCQ saying, we won't see this probably, but I want to see a new franchise like ARMS or Splatoon that turns a genre on its head. That would be cool. I would like that as well.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Alan Wilkinson with a €2 donation saying, or sorry, £2 donation, saying smash, no smash, character, other thing. I'm scared. Well, yeah, we don't know what to expect.
I think we'll see Smash.
I think we will see Smash personally. And we'll see video games. We will see Nintendo games. I can tell you that right now. That's my predictions. We'll see Nintendo games.
Pretty good.
We'll see.
You must have some.
Yeah. $1.99 from Mike F saying, I lied. It'll be Stanley from the Stanley Parable.
Oh, wow.
We're pulling from everywhere now. Thank you so much, Mike. And next is $1.99 from Splubber, a name I love reading out. Splubber, saying Hornet for Smash, Silk Song getting shadow dropped. That would break the internet if that.
Yeah.
If that
to have Hornet make it in over other indie games, I don't know how big Hollow Knight is in Japan. It'd be cool, but
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
It would be weird to see Hornet get in over, like, I mean, Shantae's obviously, that ship has sailed because she's a Mii Fighter costume, and Shovel Knight's an assist trophy. But It would be weird to see Hornet
also
get in
Sans
over.
from Undertale.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, and Sans. That's true.
Yeah. Hornet as a Mii costume though. That'd be cool. Get a
That'd be cool.
Hollow Knight track.
That's what I would think too. Yeah, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is.
Oh, sorry.
Next is $2 from Stack Stacks. I love that name too. Saying all I want from Smash is skin packs. Yeah, that would be awesome. I want skin packs, music packs. I'd be down to buy more stages. Again, but I have a problem. I will buy Smash content endlessly. So it's probably good for my sake that they are ending it. Next is $20 from Darchi. Thank you so much, Darchi, saying if N64 Online happens, what games would be in the first wave of games? Also, Steve, I totally agree. Virtual Console needs to go the Game Pass route with the big library with everything they previously released for VC before. Yes. I didn't know that you had said that, Steve, but I completely agree with you. That would be one. I don't expect it ever.
No,
Nintendo being Nintendo, but I would.
Do you not like money? That's the whole question, really.
That would definitely get a lot of people to sign up. Maybe they're looking at Game Pass and be like,
that's the funny thing. Like, I think about, so I can't do the calculus in my mind to understand how Game Pass is profitable. I don't understand it. There's no way that it makes sense, which is why I'm happily subscribed to it and will be until it'll probably get worse, because it's too good to be true right now.
That's the key though, Steve, is that like people realize what the benefit is and like how it outweighs the cost, and so you have like so many people buying into it, and there's a lot of word of mouth on it as well, as far as being like the best deal in gaming. You got like enough people who buy into it. It's like, it's worthwhile, especially if you like add it onto all sorts of platforms like on PC, Xbox consoles, and who knows, absolutely. Like down the line,
I agree with you 100%. But when I look at, if Nintendo were to do exactly what I said in the discussion and just give us all their old games, screw everybody else, forget about all the awesome third-party stuff on previous Nintendo platforms. If Nintendo said, hey, all of our stuff from N64 backwards is on this service for, let's just say $30 a year, right? And you have access to it, as long as you're subscribed.
There's no question. Everyone will buy into it. They would not know
what to do with the money they generate from that.
It would.
It's so true.
Be ridiculous.
It's like duck in the money bin, basically, at that point.
Yeah. Like Doug Bowser would just, sleep in a coffin full of cash every night for no reason other than that it's fancier.
It would be.
Somehow.
It would just be. Doug Bowser in the Wario World cover.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
Get it together.
To answer your question, Darchi, I feel like it would be pretty likely if we didn't get Super Mario 64, which, for the 3D All-Stars reasons, we might not. I feel like Pilot Wing 64 and Wave Race 64 are both pretty good bets for the first wave.
Mario Kart
64, agreed.
I've got one for this, and it would be the most Nintendo choice ever. Specifically, the most Nintendo of America choice ever. The N64 launched with 3 games in Japan, and we would only get one of them. And it would be the fucking Shogi game. Nintendo would be like, look at this import that never came out. Enjoy it. We're give
keeping
you
to tradition over here.
I would love to see some rare love, like get some of the, and not even just the banjo games. I mean, like Blast Corps, Jet Force Gemini, like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping for Dr. Mario 64 because it has that 4-player. I have really good memories of playing that against Tom, and I will take on all comers when it comes to Dr. Mario 64. That's my puzzle game. Yeah. Like I love Puzzle League. I am not the best at it. Dr. Mario, I can do.
Derek is laying down his challenge right now. Like bring all comers at this point.
I'm a pill popper.
Nice. Well, on that note, I know John, our good friend John Cartwright, and I both feel strongly about this. I would be very happy if Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, aka Panel de Pon, would
Pokemon Puzzle League and all that.
Yeah, that would be. Or sorry, Pokemon Puzzle League Challenge is the Game Boy Color version. That would be. I would love to be able to play that online, but we'll see. And with that, I am going to cut it to super chats for right now there so we can move on with the news, but I will continue with the super chats after our next story. And as usual for this one, I'm not going to come up with a clever transition for this because it is Activision-Blizzard, but we're not going to, again, get into the details of all that grisly stuff. We are going to talk about some high-profile departures that just recently happened. So let's get that up on screen. So it seems as though people are abandoning ship.
Yeah, that was my Blizzard. Abandon ship. Everybody off.
Well, and especially this first one. So 2 high-profile employees of Blizzard have now left the company. The first being their chief legal officer, Claire Hart.
But that's not a good sign.
That is, when your chief legal officer departs amidst everything currently going on, that's not a good sign. Well, it's a good sign for those of us who want to see them, burn for what they've done, but not a good sign for Activision Blizzard's shareholders. Yeah. And then also, just as painfully, and in kind of a different way, the executive producer of both Overwatch 2 and the Overwatch series in general, Chacko Sonny, I love that name, is leaving as well. So
that hurts me personally, as an Overwatch fan myself. Yeah.
Right, and obviously, Mr. Sonny has been very instrumental and very important to Overwatch's development and overall identity. But I guess we don't know for sure that everything going on is why they're leaving, but that's why they're leaving. Come on. I mean, the timing is too common. Steve, you had a bit of you cracked up there for a second. What's going on?
I couldn't help it. In our patron chat, one of our patrons said Activision, more like ass division. And it was right as you were starting the story, and it just hit right at the.
That's a new IP, ass division.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I'm glad they're getting out while the getting's good, I guess. It seems as though the fact that they're leaving when they're leaving is kind of implicit admission that they don't agree or approve of what the company's doing, where it's going, how they're treating their employees. Or maybe they do and they just want to get out because they fear for their own jobs. Who knows?
I think they just don't want to be around all the drama that's going on right now. And I feel like with Chacko Sonny, especially, that really speaks as far as like how the development of Overwatch 2 is going, and it's already had its fair share of problems as far as its marketing and like all the stuff that's going on right now with Activision-Blizzard, like all that. I think he just doesn't want to deal with it personally. Like if I had to guess, honestly, like anyone who's high profile right now,
can't really blame him.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I mean, like anyone who's like high profile right now, who's like part of the company, I'm sure they're like second guessing. It's like, do I really want to be dealing with all this and what's going to come down the road and all that stuff? I totally understand like where they're coming from, considering my own history with projects I've been part of. So I understand like where they're coming from.
Sure. So, yeah, as we've said, we've belabored the point on previous episodes. Screw Activision Blizzard. We're glad people are getting out while the getting's good. It seems as though the sharks are circling around Bobby Kotick as well. As we said before, I really do hope that everyone involved in creating this horrifically toxic company culture over at Activision Blizzard, gets dinged for it and hard. I want to see legal repercussions. I want to see financial repercussions. Obviously, these people are very protected, so I don't, necessarily believe that'll happen. But I'm crossing my fingers that this really, really, really. They take some on the chin for this, and more than some.
Like I said,
I wanted to highlight also actually about like how people should be looking towards like the people who are the higher ups of the company, not the developers themselves, not the design teams and everything. I just want to make that like perfectly clear because those are the people like the people who are actually making the games and trying to do their jobs. They're like like almost by and large like completely clear of all this. And it's really the people who are higher up there.
It's the highest toxic
environment. Exactly.
Yeah, I have nothing but love for the developers in the trenches for sure.
And one other thing with Nick Wilde in the YouTube chat saying, I get that Activision has done some really bad stuff, but can we please not terrorize people who like their games? Debates like that are absolute hell. And the thing. Trust me, it sucks. Steve has personal experience. He really wants to play Diablo 2.
I do.
I I'm a huge Crash and Spyro fan. Guess who owns them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
It's true.
Thing. Saying I like Spyro is not the same as endorsing what is going on at Activision. And you can, and it's not like, the people that love these series, myself included, went to the store and said, wow, Activision's sure an awful company. I should support them. Like, we all bought into these franchises decades ago, or, whenever, right? Like, if I had never played an Activision game and I went to the store today and looked at, Diablo sitting on the shelf, knowing what I know now, I'd probably be like, yeah, just gonna not learn anything about these. But the time for that has passed. Yes, I would encourage anyone that can to not support Activision with their dollars if they're able to. And I talked on previous episodes about that not being, Activision is going to be fine. The developers that we all care about are going to be fine because Activision has billions of dollars. If you don't spend $60 on a game, you're not going to hurt the rank and file people. But if enough of us do it, it will eventually hurt the executives who are held to account for the company making money. And that's really what the goal is. It's not to hurt the little person.
No, of course.
So I mean, it's kind of like collateral damage, though, right? Because ultimately, it's the people who are at the bottom who usually gets cut first, and then people who are at the top either stay in their positions or they move on to other high profile positions in other.
And that's why the legal repercussions are kind of the hope here, because that's the best way to get them. Because they might not make as much money, but again, it's like, well, it's not making as much, so we're going to cut this team. All of a sudden, you're losing more stuff that you love, and it sucks.
It's a bad situation overall. Yeah.
Ninko brought with an interesting point made in our live audience patron chat, saying a reminder that Activision was created to get away from Atari's at the time toxic corporate culture.
Someone knows their history over here.
Yeah. I had forgotten about that. Thanks for the reminder. That is, it's ironic the way things change over the years. And
I interviewed Dan Kitchen, who was part of Activision in those early days, and he said this exact same thing. Like, Activision was basically a family company, pretty much, when it first came together, and he was great as far as detailing all that, but it really is a far cry from how they are now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I feel like there's a Far Cry joke to make there, but I can't think of it fast enough to.
Somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same company, but I just wanted to do something with it, but I can't. That's okay. That brings us to the end of this news story. Fuck Activision-Blizzard. You know how we feel. We'll see how this develops. But moving on to some super chats. First off is $5 from Shadow the Pika, and I really hope this isn't something obscene or hentai related in Japanese, but they say, hyped to see the remaster of the Japanese-only DS game Danimals, Kore wa Nisei no Gemu desu, announced tomorrow. Yes, Steve, are you translating on the fly? Are we good?
That just means this is a fake game.
Oh, okay, awesome. Then we're good. Okay, good.
Yeah, I was going to say there is a game titled that. It's called There Is No Game, and you should check it out.
Oh, there is no right. I played a bit of that. Right. Thank you, Shadow the Pika, for your donations. Very much. Thank you. Next is, I'm scrolling down, $2 from this great name, McSpunk. These names are so good, you guys. $2 from McSpunk saying, I hope we get a Fire Emblem remake. Loved Echoes on 3DS. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen another game in what I thought was going to become the Echoes series yet.
It might have been affected just because of the transition from 3DS to Switch.
Sure, and the pandemic.
So, that too.
So, yeah, I would love that too. I'd love to see another Echoes-style remake, for sure. Thank you, McSpunk. Next up is $5 from Black Ninja saying, I've put this out there before and something is telling me it's happening. Master/crazy hand for Smash as the final character. Alt color Iwata hands. I love that idea.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
That would be a wild way to bring things full circle for Smash in general, making the last character being Master and Crazy Hand. We'll see. Yeah. I don't know if I see that happening myself, but it would be a wild twist.
It would, but I also can't find myself being too excited for that. I mean, it's cool, but
yeah. I honestly, I think the Iwata's hands being an alt would be the coolest part of that, honestly. Next is $2 from Lizard81288 saying, new gamers, how do I hold the N64 controller? Right? Yeah. I could see that being a huge issue for today's,
even back then, it was an issue.
Yeah, for sure.
It felt weird as a kid having most games use the analog stick and being like, why is there just D-pad over here that I just never use?
Or the Mario Party mini game, like where you had to like spin it around like this.
Oh
You
god.
know?
Oh god.
Kids had to get the gloves and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see a Mario Party 1 on the N64 online.
No, probably not.
Probably not, only because we're about to get Mario Party Superstars.
That's true.
kind of
Yeah,
my idea.
exactly.
Yeah. Next is Moon Ghost Doodles, another great name with 50. Is that Mexican pesos, Steve? Do we know?
Let me see. Hold
MX.
on. I'm sorry.
No worries. I'm not sure. I feel like it might be, but either way,
It's Mexican dollars.
Mexican dollars. Cool. Thank you so much, Moon Ghost Doodles, saying, I'd either love Odyssey 2 or a new 3D platformer, or having Dixie/Crash and Smash. Don't hate me. Could only donate so much at the moment. Good vibes to all.
Don't need to worry about donating.
Please. And you know, the fact that you donate at all, period, means the world to us. Never apologize for how little you're able to donate. We love you all the same. And thank you so
Eduardo
much.
Tena just say that Mexican peso is correct. I thought it was a peso, not a dollar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought dollar
Either way,
sign.
it works.
I'm also very tired.
Works out. But yeah, same. I think we'd all love to see Odyssey 2 or a new 3D platformer. There were those rumors surrounding a new Donkey Kong game for a while, and maybe that could probably make an appearance. Who knows? Next is $5 Canadian from our good friend Jesse M /Kitty Kong Facts, saying, speaking of Banjo, since Derek was angry at Brandon for his Diddy Kong racing skills, don't tell him I beat Canary Mary's Cuckoo Land race in 6 tries. Yikes.
See, that doesn't make me angry because I can do the same as long as I have a spoon. All I need is a spoon and I can make that happen. It breaks that challenge in half. So I am.
Who's your character, Derek?
Wait, as far as
Diddy Kong racing.
Tip Top.
Hey, it's Tip Top. I saw you as a Tip Top player, honestly. Like I was thinking, like, who would Derek play as like Tip Top? Surely, it's like you say it, boom, right there.
I'm trying to remember who I played, but I think it was her name Pipsy, the little mouse. Is that her
Pipsy
name?
Mouse.
Yeah,
Pipsy the
I
mouse,
think I played Pipsy, and yeah, and then TT once you finally unlocked him. I love playing TT.
Oh, TT the tiger, I believe, right?
No, that's the clock guy.
Right? Yeah, the clock.
Oh, the clock. That's right.
Yeah. Hi, I'm TT. I think you sounded kind of like that or something. All right, next is $5 from Late Night Sprites, saying, last time I made predictions online, I guessed Sephiroth in Smash and then Advance Wars. So I'm predicting Rhythm Heaven for Switch for you and me, Ash. Well, thank you, Late Night Sprites. Here's
that would be
right.
amazing if Late Night Sprites gets that right again.
Right, and cool. if that does happen tomorrow, Late Night Sprites, I'm giving you credit. You're the reason it did. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I would love for you to be right. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it on Super Chats right there for now, but I'll get back to them after the next news story. So, let's go ahead and move on to our third story, which deals with a JRPG series that is near and dear to pretty much all our hearts, I think. So let's get that up on screen. So, we have newly found out that the co-developer on Dragon Quest XI and XI's, Orca, has also signed on to co-develop Dragon Quest XII with Square Enix. And last week, their fellow Japanese studio, HexaDrive, also signed on to assist. So this is obviously turning out to be a huge production. That's no surprise. It's Dragon Quest. It's mainline Dragon Quest. But, now, you got Square Enix enlisting both Orca and HexaDrive. This is the scope is for this project is obviously becoming monumental. But I still don't, I wouldn't expect to see this game still for at least until 2023 at the earliest, I would say. I don't know that we have too much to say about this. My personal take is hell yeah, only because Dragon Quest XI's is one of the best JRPGs I have ever played in my life, period, bar none, full stop. And Orca, obviously, were part of that. So I trust them to deliver with Square and HexaDrive on Dragon Quest XII as well.
To quote Nicolas Cage, that's high praise.
Derek, I know you're our resident Dragon Quest super fan out of us. Do you have any additional thoughts on this?
Not too many. I mean, they are definitely the big thing with Dragon Quest XII is they say they're taking in a bit of a different direction to what's standard for Dragon Quest, and them going in any kind of new direction. Like, it was a massive addition when you could in Dragon Quest VIII when you could actually see your characters during fights. That was a big addition. That's how slow Dragon Quest typically changes things up. It's typically very traditional, and I think it'll still have a lot of traditional elements to it, but I think maybe production value is where it's really going to take another step up and maybe go in the story direction. Another way, looking through the positions they're going through a lot. They have character artists, cinematic artists, technical artists, user interface artists, rendering programmer, animators, environmental artists, rigging artists, level designers, facial animators, effects artists, lighting artists, and planners. This is a lot of positions, and there's a lot of moving parts going on here. And if it can just manage to get that same level of quality that 11 had, or even close to it, we were in for such a treat. I mean, the thing is, it's like the whole Flames thing gives it a sense of a darker Dragon Quest, but then you like, you know, for anyone who's played Dragon Quest, it's like this series already is kind of dark. You know, it's like it
has kind of like a light, happy veneer, but then when you really dig into the story and you really start playing it, it goes places. 11, I mean, I haven't played really much beyond 11. I played a little bit of 8. I'd love to go back and play it someday, but just speaking from experience with 11, that story goes places I never would have expected to in terms of getting really dark. Having, you know, when I just first played the first few hours of the game, right? I'm like, oh, okay, this is really fun, and what a fun, high adventure, pretty light, pretty happy. No, it doesn't stay that way. It doesn't stay that way.
I compare it most to, like, if you, as a kid looking at something like the Secret of Nim, it's like, for the most part, you can see some of the stills and be like, oh, it's a happy, fun mouse movie. And then you get into it, it's like, oh, God. There's creepy owl and sword fights and all kinds of other darker elements to it that you just wouldn't expect. Still great movie, but it's like just not what you'd expect to see.
A little bit, yeah.
Of all things, because you made that comparison, Derek, and I agree. The one that comes to mind for me, out of all things, is The Brave Little Toaster, which is a movie that I loved growing up, and it's like a really fun kids movie until you watch it. And then it's not as nearly as fun.
That's a good callback.
Maybe it's just me playing Dragon Quest VIII recently, but now I'm just imagining Dual Magus as that clown, that fireman clown, where he just during that dream sequence where he goes run, and he just says all teeth, and it's like, jeez.
Just Walter White all of a sudden run.
By the way, this Dragon Quest news, of course, comes from Push Square, who reminds us a little bit about HexaDrive's background. HexaDrive have collaborated with Square in the past before, most notably Final Fantasy 15. But HexaDrive has also worked, and they primarily work with other developers on large projects. They helped develop Zelda: The Wind Waker HD for you, David, and which you haven't played yet. But they have helped out with various ports, and they are a proven studio for sure. So it does seem like the development pedigree here is, you know, first rate. And I know we're all hyped for Dragon Quest XII whenever it arrives, but it's going to be a while. So, yeah. All right. Like I said, I didn't think we would have too much to talk about there. So let's go ahead and get back to our super chats. First off, we have $5 from AxeCon saying, what about Yarn Kirby for Smash? Mario, Link, and Samus all get alt forms. It's a long shot, but maybe Sakurai is feeling nostalgic for his franchise. If Sakurai wants to pull rank and put another Kirby character in there, whoever it is, I mean, I'm not the biggest Bandana D fan, but look, I still love Kirby, and we get more Kirby music. We get another stage.
I don't think there's any nostalgia for Sakurai because Yarn Kirby is definitely not Sakurai.
That wasn't a Sakurai Kirby game. So, and we have seen that Sakurai seems to prefer to draw from his own Kirby games, and we have so much content from like Kirby Superstar and Kirby's Dreamland, and so we don't really see much from modern Kirby games, which is, I would say, both. Well, I mean, not both good and bad. Probably just a bad thing. I love modern Kirby games as well as the classic ones. So I don't think we'd see that, though. I agree. Next is $2 Canadian from Jared Helder saying, hoping the Smash reveal will be special to Sakurai. I hope so, too. You know, the man deserves it. The man has brought us, you know, and so many people, so much happiness over the last 8 years with these incredible Smash reveals. And I love it when you can see the passion and just how effusive he is about characters.
Oh, man, if we can get him geeking out.
Yeah, like the way he geeked out over Terry and SNK in general was amazing. Like that's one of my favorite Sakurai presentations of all time because you can tell
when he's talking about like characters. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could tell when there's like character reveals and he actually has like a history with those characters or those franchises, and he clearly had a lot of history with Terry Bogard and with the Fatal Fury franchise and all that. So
I loved that. Yeah, I love to see that. So I agree. I hope it's someone who is special to Sakurai. Which means I really hope Sakurai is a big Kingdom Hearts fan. Next is $4.99 from Corey Bryant saying the next Smash character is going to be a sealed copy of Bayonetta 3. you wouldn't be able to afford it. That would be too valuable. Nobody could buy it. I mean, it's this.
It's too hard.
Who knows where Bayo 3 is, and suddenly a sealed copy of it. Yeah, exactly. Next is $5 Canadian from Xanic, saying, I think the last character is Nahobino from Shin Megami Tensei 5, but I don't think it will be revealed tomorrow. Well, I respectfully disagree. I don't see that being the case, but hey, if it is, come back and say I told you so, because that is a very specific prediction that would be pretty wild if it turned out to actually be that. So we'll see.
The representation would be really interesting. And the funny thing is that technically the Nahobino would be a sword character because he has a sword come out of his hand.
Exactly.
Thank you, Xanic, for the donation. Seriously. Let's see, just scrolling down. Here we go. Next is $4.99 from Brian Rivero, saying, would you guys be happy with Crash/Spyro for Smash since they are both owned by Activision?
I would, but I can't see Nintendo touching it. So...
The only thing is, all that would have happened way before. They would have gotten Crash or Spyro way before all these allegations came out. That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be thrilled just because of everything going on right now, but I would be much more hyped for Spyro than I would Crash. I just don't like Crash as a character. Sue me. Please don't sue me. But I don't like Crash as a character at all. He doesn't do anything for me. So not even to do with the Activision-Blizzard allegations, I just wouldn't be hyped for Crash no matter what. Spyro, though, sure.
But what if it's Frog from Chrono Trigger?
I mean, if it's anybody from Chrono Trigger, you're going to hear me screaming from, the rooftops, no matter where.
I remember.
Oh my God, man! And in Town Darling with $4.99, just saying Rhythm Heaven, 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 Rhythm Heaven. Thank you, Town Darling. I appreciate the passion for Rhythm Heaven. I completely agree. I would love very few things more than to see a Rhythm Heaven announcement tomorrow during the Direct. Do I expect it? Not really, but I sure would be happy with it. Next is $2 from On YouTube User saying, I just want Chibi Robo. The series is so underrated. Yeah, Chibi Robo's great and deserves a lot more love from Nintendo. I completely agree. We did get Ziplash relatively recently, but I don't think that landed very well with the fan base.
Especially not with its fan base.
That's what I understood.
It was a perfectly fine platformer with some weird decisions.
Yeah. Next up is $5 Canadian from Jared Helder saying, I played Dragon Quest XI with some kids watching and had to quickly pause when things got real. Though dark, it is in the end optimistic in its tone, and you're completely right. It does have an optimistic message overall.
Going back to Don Bluth, he was very much of the belief that kids can handle dark and kind of scary things as long as there's a happy ending.
Exactly.
Agreed. Kids can handle a lot more than I think they're given credit for, especially in America. I think kids are pandered and talked down to way too much with modern cartoons and stuff. So I completely
You're speaking my language here, Ash.
Yeah. I know. I saw you nodding. I'm like, yep. No, he knows where I'm coming from. And then finally, $5 from Sean Davis saying, can't wait for Mallow from Zelda to be announced as the last Smash fighter. The Mallow Mart theme in Smash would be beautiful. Mallow creeps me out, man. He still, all these years later, creeps me out. I don't know.
Mario RPG Mallow, I'm guessing? Or?
No, Mallow from Twilight Princess, the shopkeeper.
Oh, okay, all right.
The little baby.
Yeah, he's like a grown baby. It's just really weird. But I do like his shop theme. I do like that.
I mean, Mallow and Mario RPGs also have a grown baby. So.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our super chats for now. So let's go ahead and move on to our next story, which I am lovingly calling the Ashy P Special. So let's get that up on screen.
Sorry, Cliffy B.
So speaking of things we haven't heard from in a while that maybe could show up during tomorrow's Direct, Bandai Namco have filed new trademarks for both Wahoo Encore and 1 and 2 Encore. And I would like to remind you all that Wahoo, specifically Wahoo, is the catchphrase of one of my favorite platformer characters ever, Klonoa. It was reported way back in September 2019 that Bandai Namco had filed a trademark for Klonoa Encore. And this got many people, including myself, excited because guess what the Japanese name is for Katamari Damacy Reroll? Katamari Encore. So that got people thinking, oh shit, Klonoa is finally going to make a resurgence. We're getting Klonoa 1 remaster or something on Switch. Nothing came of it. And, that is, of course, always the risk with trademark news stories. You don't know if anything's going to come of it. So this isn't technically the first time we've heard about this, but it is exciting that they have refiled trademarks for two other names that could mean Klonoa, and 1 and 2 Encore is particularly exciting because that could point to us getting Lunatea's Veil, like a remaster of that or just a port. And God, I wouldn't have ever dared to hope for that. Not that I'm necessarily banking all my hopes on this anyway, because
that game is stuck on the PlayStation 2. So
it is.
It just to have any kind of port, and I've had that game for a long time. Please, it is really good. please. And I would say even more than the original Klonoa, which is a fantastic game in its own right, I would say Lunatea's Veil is even better. And both of these games, specifically the original PlayStation version of Klonoa, the Wii remake was good, but it's not as good as the original PlayStation version. And God, if we could get ports of both of those on Switch, whether they're remastered or not, I would be so happy. I want to get Lunatea's Veil off the PS2. It's just because it's so hard to play, but it's such a good game. So you all have to promise me in the audience that if this does turn into a thing and Klonoa Encore is real, you all have to play it if you like platformers, because Klonoa deserves the love and deserved way better than he's ever gotten. We wouldn't steer you wrong.
Exactly. No, Klonoa that's actually another great example of a series that seems fun and lighthearted on the surface, and it is fun, but it really goes places.
Klonoa 1's ending is so freaking dark.
So is 2's. They both are.
Well, 2's is kind of dark. Best way that I've heard the 2's ending described is that it's Inside Out before Inside Out.
Oh, I could see kind of, I can see what you mean. Okay.
Which I don't think is as dark as 1. 1 is like that. Well, I'm not going to say anything, but yeah, just to let you know, it's like there's some wild implications in 1.
Yeah. I just really, really hope that this is a thing. I don't know why Bandai Namco originally filed the trademark for Klonoa Encore 2 years ago now. I don't know why it's taking so long, but it does give me just a little bit of hope that these 2 new trademarks have now been filed. And, what else could Wahoo Encore possibly be from Bandai Namco? What else? Nothing.
If I had to guess, honestly, it feels like that Bandai Namco has been looking for ways to bring back Klonoa in some fashion, and maybe they just come across issues, maybe finding the right team to work on it or something. Maybe now they have, and they with all the time that's passed, they had to do they had to re-up the license for it and everything. But yeah, it'll be curious to see how Klonoa comes back, if he does come back in some fashion.
Yeah, and I did forget about this, but I mentioned Katamari Damacy reroll being Katamari Damacy Encore in Japan, but it's also worth noting that Mr. Drill Land here is known as Mr. Driller Encore in Japan. So all the pieces seem to be lining up. It does seem as though Klonoa is next. It's just a matter of when. But who knows? Maybe that could be one of those out of nowhere announcements during the Direct tomorrow. The timing would be perfect.
Hey,
so
I put this in our discussion as my Ash isn't here prediction for the Direct. So I filed that on your behalf. But yeah, I actually do think that where there's, I like to say where there's smoke, there's fire, and it does. The timing is interesting. But I think that could weigh. I'm kind of 50-50 on Klonoa showing up tomorrow. Just because the timing of the trademark is really suspect with the Direct being right around the corner. But at the same time, like you said, with trademark news, nothing comes of it. So I would be thrilled because I haven't played a ton of Klonoa. I played the Wii remake, and it didn't really grab me at the time. But I absolutely love the character and the art style of those games. And I'd like to try them.
I love the design.
I would love to try them the way they're intended to be played. So hopefully it's soon, and hopefully it's on Switch. If
I would expect it. That's a perfect audience for the Switch.
Agreed.
Yeah, it really is. And also, I just want to say I'm loving all the Klonoa love in the chat here, in both chats. There's people are like, "Yay, Klonoa! Yeah, Klonoa! Wahoo!" I'm loving that there are other Klonoa fans here with us. But yeah, Steve, I don't blame you. Klonoa, the Wii remake, if that is your only frame of reference for the original game, it's a good game, but it's not special in the same way the original PlayStation version is, I think. And I think that's kind of maybe why it didn't stick with you in the way that the original PlayStation
Klonoa
version
2 is probably still one of the best examples of 2.5D.
I agree.
Gameplay.
Completely agree. And what a soundtrack, the set pieces. I love that game. Please, Bandai Namco.
There is
through with this.
I've told this story before, but I definitely have just intense memories of the first time playing Klonoa 2, and it was like came out pretty soon after the release of the PlayStation 2, so it was that new generation of graphics, and it just sort of like, wow, this looks so good. And there was one moment where you go over a waterfall while you're on a little jet board and fall for a long ways, and I have a bit of a fear of heights. I could just feel my stomach going up in my chest just from watching that visual. I'm like, oh my god. And yeah, that was like, I'll never forget that feeling, as no other game has ever caused that for me. I've been a little like, I don't know about this, but nobody's ever given me that, like, oh boy.
Yeah. Screamo Shaman in our live audience patron chat points out that Klonoa 1 is on the PS3 as a classic, and the GBA games are on Wii U Virtual Console, and that's true. I own all of them. But it's still stuck on PS2 and PS3, and the GBA games are good, but they're not the same. They're just not the same as the mainline games. They're fine in their own way, but the main two mainline Klonoa games are just utterly special in a completely different way. So really hoping Bandai Namco come through here. We'll see what happens. Well, before we move on to our final news story, we do have a couple more super chats. First is $5 from Queso Buddy. I love that name, saying Bayonetta 4, the sequel to Bayonetta 2, will be announced tomorrow in the Direct. What? Bayonetta 3? No, I'm convinced that game doesn't exist. Don't tell Platinum that, because apparently they've been waiting to show that off and haven't been able to for whatever reason.
A fever dream at this moment, yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Nintendo just pulled like another PlayStation move, and they just cut Platinum's legs out from under them, and they're like, "Here's Bayonetta 3.
That would be horrible luck
by
on
ourselves
Platinum's
with
part.
Phillips."
That would be horrible luck on their part. Jesus. I didn't joke about that, Steve.
Next up is $5 New Zealand dollars from Kane Woolley, saying, I always wonder, what about the remake do you not think is as good as the original? It's literally just the first game made in the engine of the second. For me, it was the tone. There's a very specific tone that the Klonoa games have, that they aren't afraid to get really dark. And at least to my mind, some of those darker overtones were toned down, I guess, for the Wii remake. And it wasn't exactly faithful, I guess, to the tone of the original in the way that I wanted it to be. It just seemed like they tried to make it a little bit more kid-friendly, or a little afraid of it coming off as dark as the original did, and that's just kind of what I got from it. Like I said, still a perfectly good game, and I like it a lot, but it just doesn't compare tone-wise and atmosphere-wise for me to the original. But still
I never played the Wii version, so I can't compare myself.
Oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, still a very good version of an amazing game, just not my favorite version.
I feel like the original was able to kind of get away with that more, because like the PS1 era of games really was more experimental, and they were allowed to kind of get away with more of those things, especially being like really 3D era and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, GameFan6219 points out a great comparison. I never even really thought about this, ironically, but saying Klonoa is like Kirby, both dream games and they get dark. Yeah, that's very true. I hadn't really thought about the similarities.
Crossover, maybe?
Yeah. An uninspired username says Klonoa is the Kirby has deep/serious lore meme, but unironically. Yeah, that's so true. That's so funny. I hadn't ever thought about those two in comparison. Finally, we have $1.99 from Screamo Shaman, saying, now do the same for the first 4 dot hack games. Wow. I never played those, but I know people really love them. It was like playing an anime series, from what I understand.
It has a hardcore
playing an offline MMO.
Yeah.
Like an MMO, which are offline.
Yep. Yeah, I heard really good things about that series. I just never played them myself. Thank you, Screamo Shaman. Well, that brings us to the end of our super chats for now. So, before we move on to our final news story, I do want to warn everyone, this is technically a spoiler for the final character in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl's base roster. So if you don't want to know who it is, check out now, maybe come back in like 10 minutes, but just so you know. But yeah, let's go ahead and get that last news story up on screen. So I said Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl would be coming back later in the episode, and here it is. So due to a leak of the Xbox splash screen for the game, we now know who the 20th and final unrevealed fighter in the game's base roster is, and it's Toph from Avatar, which is awesome. I'm all about that. That's a great choice. I mean, like I've said before, I really would love to see Katara in the game. I'm a really big Katara fan, but Toph would be like right underneath her for me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, by having Korra there, it makes sense to go Toph instead, because water bending.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. It does, and I think Toph is a fantastic addition to the roster, a great choice. David, are you an Avatar fan?
I am not, but I do know enough about Avatar to know that this is a great choice for sure, and I'm really excited to see what the moveset looks like, honestly. So, yeah, I can only imagine.
It is really easy to sell people on Toph because I still remember watching her intro episode in that series. Season 2, episode 5, you watch and you're just like, this girl is amazing.
Toph is a badass, man.
All right.
And this is the time where we remind Steve yet again to go watch The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I was about to say, man.
Steve and I are like, what are these weeks talking
about?
Your kids will love it. It's actually really funny that the final 3 characters are all Avatar related and Steve knows nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
I mean, I find it interesting. Like, every time we talk about... So, we all know that specifically... of the 3 of us here at GVG, as well as David, because any room I enter, I am like the least enthusiastic Smash fan in that room. So,
yeah, true.
And I am like struggling with the mental calculus required to get excited about a Nickelodeon-based Smash clone. Like, I am convinced that folks like Ash, who are on the extreme end of Smash fandom, are just so sad that Smash is going to end that they're like, you're my daddy now, Nickelodeon. I will not be abandoned. I found someone new.
Nickelodeon said time.
There is an element to that for sure, but I will say it isn't only that. There is for me genuine excitement in getting to see these characters in a Smash-like game that I grew up with. Not only the Ninja Turtles, but some of my favorite Nicktoon characters. So there is that element too, even though I know the game isn't going to turn out to be nearly as polished.
There is definitely some missing pulls though, as people pointed out. Like there's no like Nigel Thornberry and stuff like that.
No, he's in the roster.
Yeah,
is he? Wait! I got confused because somebody said, "Where's Nigel?" Everybody else is there, so he's not featured in that launch screen.
Yeah, he's just not in the box. Yeah,
sorry about that. That's me getting confused.
But there's no Rocco, as Late Night Sprites just pointed out. Rocco is an obvious pool, and there's no Rocco.
No Rocco's weird. Yeah, it's like no Crash in PlayStation All-Stars,
Yeah, so but we did recently find out that there are going to be 2 more characters being added post-launch that are for free, like added to the base roster before they move on to the DLC. So maybe Rocco's one of them. Who knows? But anybody who knows Avatar knows Toph is a badass choice, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her moveset. It's interesting that really the only characters that haven't been officially revealed yet, to my knowledge, are the Avatar characters, all 3 of them. Yep. So I don't know if they're just going to reveal them together or what.
Maybe they'll be in the direct tomorrow.
That's true. It could be because they don't have that long until the game comes out. I think it launches on October 5th, and they still have 3 more characters. So, but no, Toph is a great choice. R.I.P. Katara, R.I.P. Zuko, Azula, all those other great Avatar characters. But hey, there's always DLC. So
yeah. I mean, I might be aging myself here, but I'm surprised that there's no Doug characters or Rugrats characters in here. But
there is a Rugrats character.
We got Reptar.
Oh, there are? Oh, Reptar.
They won't let you beat up the babies.
Yeah, they won't let you beat up the babies. I think that the Doug issue is Disney. I can only
Disney
guess that.
Has Doug.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think Whale Man. Whale Man would be an obvious choice. In that case,
right? I know. I mean, look. There's so many things. I was talking to one of my best friends about this last night, and he was like, I hope this game is successful so they just keep getting characters and DLC characters because I can get my dream matchup of Pork Chop versus Spunky. And I'm like, you might get Spunky. And add the voices. We talked about this plenty on the show, but
that is the biggest thing. Is the music isn't great and it feels kind of lifeless without the voices. So and the sound effects are kind of.
And you have all these iconic cartoon characters that it just feels so weird without the voices. So I'm hoping they didn't close the door on that. They said they could maybe add them down the road. I don't know if I believe that's going to happen, but I would be really happy if it did. So
I feel like this game honestly is going to go the way of the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid game, where it started off being low budget and everything, but they've been able to add more as the seasons have gone on, and it's become more of a full-fledged game now. I feel like Nickelodeon All-Stars is also going to end up being the same way, honestly.
Yeah.
If it does well, we'll see.
At least my hope, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. No, same. As Stardust Whip in our YouTube chat points out, Disney owns Doug. They don't own the episodes that aired on Nick, but they do own the show overall.
IP, yeah. Okay.
Disney gonna Disney, you know.
Disney gonna Disney. Yeah.
So yeah.
So maybe Marvel superheroes versus Doug.
Oh
my God, can you imagine?
Well, it's time for our Disney. We got a Cartoon Network fighter. We got a Nickelodeon fighter. Time for a Disney fighter. It's like Disney Afternoon and
that'd be great.
Fighting each other and
gummy bears and all that. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's how I'll get Sora in a fighting game.
Yeah, there you go.
Disney.
Sora's the boss.
Yeah. Vento Kios in our YouTube chat says Ickis from Real Monsters. And while you're not getting Ickis, you do at least get Oblina. And that's a pretty cool pull. Like really deep cut there. Mm-hmm. So really looking forward to seeing what happens with the DLC and everything for this game. But you're not wrong, Steve. There is definitely a sense of relief that with Smash Ultimate's DLC ending, that there's something else to kind of, get on a different character hype train from characters.
Well, the funny thing is,
mean a lot to me from my childhood.
All the characters are out there, so there's no hype anymore. It's just well, there they are.
Well, there's DLC there, plus the two extra ones we don't know about. And there's DLC, so don't take that away from me, Derek. Don't take this away from me.
I will take it away from you.
Once that's over, I really don't have anything to latch onto after that. So,
got any characters? I need characters.
Yeah, I need characters. All right.
Well, just be Smash reboot rumor discussions for the next.
Yeah, there you
go. We'll just get on to Smash 6. Yeah, or 6. Yeah, 6. All right. Well, we did. That does mark the end of today's news. We do have a couple more super chats to read out. So first is $2 from ToonJ723 saying Doug for Kingdom Hearts 4 along with Pepper Ann. I don't know if I know who Pepper Ann is.
She just got on Disney Plus. It's some sort of Saturday morning thing I've never watched myself.
Yeah.
It's got a really I've never heard of earwormy theme song.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pepper Ann. Yeah. She's like a tall, lanky redhead girl that wears a purple shirt and really loud.
Never watched it myself. That was after my time.
I just know about it, but I was kind of envisioning the character fighting. It's that's just it's ridiculous.
By the way,
I missed one. Yeah. I scrolled right back up to it. Thanks, Derek. It's $5 from our good friend Rob Arman X saying, while it's a minor bummer that we don't get all 4 TMNT ninjas, can we talk about how many characters on the NASB roster are female? Let's go. Yeah, completely agree. And yeah, we got a lot of female characters. We've got one woman of color in Cora, and Toph herself is another female fighter, and she's blind.
I think 7 in total.
7, yeah, which is really cool. There's definitely way more diversity in the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl roster than in Smash's, which is ironic when you consider that Smash Ultimate has 80 characters. That's that's one thing where Smash comes up short. Yeah. But no, I completely agree, Rob. Well said. Next is $4.99 from Town Darling saying, if you've played Nick Kart Racers 2, All Stars has the same vibe. Generic-ish music and no voices for characters. The rosters are near identical too. I did not know that. I hadn't played or heard of Nick Kart Racers 2, so I didn't even know that the rosters
is so bad.
Is it really? Oh God, I hope
really
that's
bad.
I hope that doesn't
I hope
that doesn't. That's not a predictor of Nick All Stars' quality. We'll see what happens. But no, I hadn't heard about that, Town Darling. Thank you, and thank you for the donation. Finally, we have $5 from Skull Kid Tiger saying, wonder if Nickelodeon ATB will start a trend for some more companies or resurgence from PlayStation and Cartoon Network's Smash likes. Maybe, hopefully. I have said before that I would be down for Sony to give PlayStation All-Stars another shot, and don't try to do something cute with the KO mechanic. Just make it PlayStation Smash. Just crib from what works, what we know works, and make a damn good PlayStation Smash clone featuring all these awesome PlayStation characters we love.
I just do not see Sony going back to that well anytime soon.
No,
I don't either. For them.
No, that's going the way of the Vita for them at this moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't see them ever actually doing that, especially because PlayStation All-Stars was just such a, just in terms of perception and quality, was just it came in. I love it myself.
I love that game myself. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it for what it was at the time, but in hindsight, that KO mechanic where you could only get points by using those specific KO moves just doesn't hit the same way, literally, I guess. But there were just so many balance problems. I remember my buddy and I would play, and he would just demolish me with Big Daddy's, I think, level 3 special, which out of context, that's an amazing thing to say. But Big Daddy was so OP in that game, and it annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah,
but
I was at the Killzone guy though too. The Killzone guy was just like OP, like at the beginning of the game. I remember.
Right.
And I played it, so I knew how OP he was.
and Kratos was really over OP for a while. Like for a while, he was. No, I enjoyed parts of the game for sure, and I came out at the right time because that was during the really long drought between Brawl and Smash 4. So it came out at the right time. But yeah, just in hindsight, I didn't like some of what it did with its gameplay. But hey, it had Parappa as a playable character. In any game where you gotta believe is doing something right. Exactly. But Rob Arman X says, demolish me with Big Daddy's level 3 special, Ash 2021. I love it. Well, I think that is the perfect note for us to wrap up on. Thank you all so much for joining us for this episode of Today's News Tonight. But as always, before we head out, David, please tell our amazing audience where they can find you on the internet, man.
Sure. The internet's where everyone lives. So you can find me at The Guilty Man. It's DAGILTYMAN on Twitter and Instagram. And you can also find all my voiceover stuff on davidsaysthat.com.
Awesome. Well, it is always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you again for, joining us on such short notice. We obviously are going to have you back again. You are a true friend of the channel and of mine, of course. And we just love having you on, man.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys and talk Chrono Trigger and everything else.
Exactly. And you wear a Chrono Trigger shirt. It's also your favorite game ever. Prepared. Obviously, you have you came prepared. You have great taste. Yeah, no doubts there. So, no, thank you so much, man. And, well, that brings us to the true end of episode 137 of Today's News Tonight. But as always, we do have to give a special thank you to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make this show happen, because without you, it wouldn't be happening. And we love doing this with you 3 times a week so much. So seriously, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for supporting us and the show. But as always, we do also have to give an extra special thank you to all of our all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine, wonderful, amazing folks include Jared Edinger, Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Etiono Ben, Dan and Twistle, Dennis J, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, Octopuppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Kitty Kong Fax, Angel Martinez, Vedran Hotik, 112, John, Joshua Hunter, Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Azran127, Pagrima, Ken Rule 09, Jake Pelka, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Aram M, Sakuragi, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Fizzywig Hoyd, Critmonger, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, Kenneth Lee Stingle, West Egg, Deaneth, Kota, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Justin Matthews, Hoobie, Too Much Spaghetti, No Such Thing, Mega Conrad, Ascaron809, Kane, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, Christopher Masterson, Spicy Pandotter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchro Lord, Brainchild, Rosa Pardo Bowling.
Hi, Mom.
Kotar Peck, Scuff 196, Kane Woolley, Skull Kid Tiger, AJB Cool, Blizzica, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Cystic Warrior 29, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Darik, Nathan the Voice Actor, Chibi J, Bongo Lover, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Fangs, Dinner Sonic, Freyhem, Mason Riley, Keel, Santi the Person, Ditto M, Sci-Fi Lullabies, Brook by the Bay, Brendan Hesse, Dark Steel 01, Kilomox, Super Game Dude 101, and finally, last but certainly not least, Stag Nasty. Thank you all so much. I know I love that name. I love watching you laugh at all these names you're not used to hearing. David
Well,
is-
here like all these like crazy names like Stagnasty
I
or
know.
whatever, and then else is like
Yeah.
John, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you all so much. That EP list just gets longer and longer, and I love reading it every single week. Thank you all so much. As a reminder, we are fully Patreon funded, so if you could head over to patreon.com/gvgaming and check us out there. We do offer a variety of tiers at all price levels, starting with $1 a month, which gets you into our Discord community, all the way up to $400 a month, which allows you to sponsor an episode of TNT like Freyhim did today. But we also offer a bunch of different tiers in between those two extremes, all of which come with really cool perks. So, check us out over there. But even if you can't do that, that's completely fine. We'd love it if you just supported us right here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Every little bit truly does help. And remember, we are giving away a Switch OLED when we hit 75K subs. And Derek and I have pledged to do No Shave November if we hit 70K before November. So we'll see what happens. But we are giving away a Switch OLED at 75K. And all you have to do to win it is be subscribed when we hit 75K. That's it. It's that simple. But anyway, that's all from me for today. We will see you tomorrow for our Nintendo Direct reaction stream, of course, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific. So look forward to that. We hope to see you there. Otherwise, we will see you on Friday for the next episode of Today's News Tonight. Until then, everybody, good night and good vibes.
Fair show.
I
Bye, everyone.